So, Steven, I think they're ready for us. You ready?
Yo, let's go.
All right, let's get it. So, what's up, everyone? We got next. We have an action-packed episode for you all today. We'll just start off quick because we all know what you want to hear. Just remember, we have the giveaways that are continuing. So once we hit 100 subscribers and then 100 likes on any video, we will end up giving away $100 in Bitcoin. And then if whoever can come up with the best name for the cryptocurrency segment, we will be giving away $25 in Bitcoin. I want to say thank you to everyone. Well, we want to say thank you to everyone because we started noticing a lot of people viewing certain videos. One in particular was the Unizen video. We have noticed that since Unizen's price has gone up, the amount of views for that video have gone up. So we do greatly appreciate it because
You're welcome, Unizen. You're welcome.
Yeah, I know.
That was all because of us.
Exactly. Yep. And the more you guys start liking it, it works for the algorithm. And I can definitely tell a difference in it because we noticed that a lot of the videos that were getting the likes and then the views were our conversations that we had. But to see a video that we put out on our own definitely means a lot to us. I want to also say shout out to the gang in the Luxo community. They had a What's Up yesterday on Twitter, and it was amazing. They did a lot of giveaways. At one point, they gave away around $800 to $1,000 in Luxo. So it was 100 Luxo, which was a big thing that Lowry did. And I just want to say I love that community. Coming up on Monday, we will be recording an episode with Real Fever. So this is something I'm very much looking forward to. The head of blockchain over there, Pedro, will be coming on the We Got Next podcast. And this is someone and a community that I'm very much excited to talk to. They are in the NFT space. So think of the NBA Top Shots, but except in Portugal, they have in-game video moments. And they're doing a collectibles, but the cool part is, and I'm hoping that they can end up doing it for other sports, but they're starting with football in Portugal, where it'll be in-game moments, but it'll also be a fantasy soccer twist to it. So you can end up having the different athletes with those moments, but you can buy packs of basic rare and super rare. And that's something you guys will not want to miss. It's something that I personally am invested in, as well as the company. So just want to be full disclosure on that. But we're going to get into the crypto stuff so we can end up hitting up the sports news that is out there. First one, Steven, I got one for you. So we have Square with Jack Dorsey. They just bought a company called Afterpay, which kind of helps you end up purchasing things layaway per se. But the deal was they bought it for $29 billion and they did it straight stocks. So they're betting on themselves with it because the company will now get $29 billion worth of stocks in Square, which is huge. And it just shows that Square is doing so much. They're in the cryptocurrency sphere. You could do payment processing with them. You can end up transferring money to whoever you want to. And they're working with small businesses to be a bank. So they're trying to get every single angle. And that's the definition of fintech. Jack Dorsey is a genius over there with them. So shout out Jack.
Your boy. That's your boy.
Yeah, that's my boy. So he continues every single day doing stuff. The next one, we got to go touch on him. Mr. Jamie Dimon over at JP Morgan. Now they want to create a fund for Bitcoin. And the big thing about that is a lot of people are thinking, oh, wow, this is amazing. This is great. But if you look at how JP Morgan was a couple of years ago, they didn't even like Bitcoin. But now all of a sudden they're getting on the Bitcoin bandwagon. They're creating funds and stuff like that. And it's funny because when I started one of my bank accounts for Shift Movement, they would not let me do it because I was using client funds to invest in cryptocurrency, and they did not support that. But it's interesting now that they're letting their wealthy clients over at JP Morgan Chase invest in Bitcoin, and they're creating a fund.
So they're basically telling you that you're not wealthy. So
I see. They're telling me I'm not wealthy, but they're saying we don't want other people investing in Bitcoin because we want to take everybody to do it themselves. Because if they knew the amount of money that Shift Movement is bringing in now, they would definitely accept us. That's why other banks are starting to do that. So it's irritating that that's what they want to do over there. Something else who got money is Fidelity. So they just bought 7.8% of a Bitcoin mining company called Marathon. You could do the math on what 7.8% is. It's not thousands of dollars, and it's not low millions of dollars of how much they just bought of Marathon mining. But you'll start to notice that a lot of companies are going to start investing in the Bitcoin mining aspect. Same thing with like gold in real life. A lot of people want to invest in the different companies that hold gold or are mining gold. So it's a big thing to end up seeing Fidelity do this. Fidelity has been a huge company that's been investing in the cryptocurrency space. They have a Fidelity digital assets section to their company as well. So congratulations to them. Another company I want everyone to start paying attention to there called Rich City. So it's Rich City NFT. and they're very similar to The Sims. So think of everyone growing up back in the day, you played The Sims, or some people did. Rich City is doing something similar to that, except not in the nudity aspect, more so just like the human aspect, and you can end up going around, you can buy different things.
Do they put thousands and thousands of viruses on your computer?
See,
because
so far,
anyone who played The Sims knows that
they knew
every time you logged onto that and played that game, you were just like, it was a given that you were gonna get virus after virus. It was like LimeWire, like just virus after virus after virus.
But you still wanted to play it.
Oh, shout out. Of course, dude. Because it wasn't my computer, it was my parents' computer, so it was their problem.
Exactly. So the next thing, because everyone knows about what El Salvador did, making it a legal tender to have Bitcoin, and making businesses end up using Bitcoin as a legal tender and accepting that businesses, Uruguay is now presenting to their politicians and stuff for a Bitcoin to be a legal tender there. So you'll start to notice more Latin American countries and South American countries doing this because it just helps them so much. I mentioned in a previous episode about the tequila crisis that affected countries like Argentina and then Mexico, and it's huge for their economy because it'll give them a leg up. A lot of times you'll notice that African nations and Latin American countries, they aren't on the same playing field as countries that are in like the G7 or America or even different countries in Europe. So this definitely is something that's big. Last thing I want to talk to you all about in the cryptocurrency sphere is I put out my cryptocurrency picks. So I announced it first to all the clients that we have with Shift Movement, then I announced it to the public, but I want to let everyone know the August picks. We did very well in July, and we're hoping to end up doing the same in August. So the first one we have is REEF. So the ticker is REEF. The second one we have is Near Protocol. The third one we have is FIRO. The fourth one, Steven knows this one, we have UTU. So shout out to Mike Chen and them. And they've continued to do so many great things. They just had another partnership. So check out either my Twitter, check out their Twitter, because I did retweet that. So congratulations to them. It does seem, not going to toot our horn or anything like that, but it does seem that once we put them on the map over here and started telling more, because they had a lot of people talking about them, but after we end up bringing them on, they just came out with a bunch of information. Yep. And I'm happy to be a part of something that we taught to them very early. So we will start to see more people watch our things, and we can almost be called gem seekers over here because we seem to bring on people that things end up going up. Great to get the same thing.
We got to get Mike back on the show, and hopefully he remembers us when he really makes it big.
So it's crazy because some people don't realize it, but their token back in June, I noticed, was around like 2 cents or so. This month, it went up to a high of 6 cents. So anyone can do the math. That's a 3x if you end up investing around as low to now, which is good. But UTU is so much more. They're only worth like $6 million, a valuation of $6 million right now. And I believe that company is worth at least $100 million. So you can go back and check the receipts on this video because it will be worth $100 million moving forward.
We keep those too. We keep those receipts too.
Yeah, we keep those receipts too. And you can thank us later. The last one is Cyrus Foundation. They have not released yet. They're doing an IDO this month. And I just wanted to give them a little bit of credit because they are working on making sure everybody can take advantage of their own data. A lot of times, you notice there's a bunch of different companies that are professionals in data or like figuring out data analytics, but Cyrus Foundation is working to end up allow us to monetize our own data. So that's another one, but that's our top 5 right there. Now I want to go into the sports, and I want to say shout out Jameis Winston. If you know anything about what Jameis has been doing out there, I honestly, Steven, think he's just a clown. Like, that's really what I think he likes to do now. And it's one of those that if you didn't see it, he was going through the pads. Everyone else was doing it fine the way you're supposed to. All of a sudden, you just see Jameis like going through like this, about to like fall and stuff.
So a bunch of people retweeted the video, right? And it got around, and eventually it got the Jameis, and he retweeted it and quoted the tweet, and he said something like this, like the second bag tripped him up or like something, like he made like, I don't know if he made an excuse, like it might have happened. Like if anybody's done that, and I've done it once in my life, gone through those bags, it's not the hardest thing in the world. Like if there's someone, if you go after someone, the bags are still swinging and they might like that might knock you, but it's not like they're not like 200-pound bags or anything like that, you know? Like yeah, I mean, between his workout videos, like if that's what you want to call it, and him doing like God knows what, like I don't know how any of this is going to help him on the field. And I totally forgot that Drew Brees retired.
I know. I forget about that all the time.
So I was watching Training Camp Live on NFL Network last night. And first of all, speaking of the NFL, shout out to the NFL for being back right now in our lives. And it's only the Hall of Fame game, but it's football, and that's all that matters is football. So but I was watching around the league, and they were going through all everybody's training camp, and they got to the Saints, and I totally forgot that as of right now,
it's Hill or Winston.
Yeah, like what? You're gonna go from Drew Brees to, I mean, like Jameis. Okay, so Jameis was what, the number one pick? He was a Heisman winner. He was a Heisman winner. Won a national championship. Like people, like I guess people might maybe forget that he was legit coming out of college. He was legit coming out of high school as a recruit, and he did well at Florida State. He obviously won the Heisman, so like he did pretty well. And he just like, I don't know. I don't know what's gone wrong. I mean, obviously the man threw 30 and 30.
I don't know how you do that. Like how you just are throwing it and saying, all right, Mike, all right, Chris, hopefully you get it. If not, other team got it.
They don't. And he threw what, 6 pick sixes, I think.
Pick sixes, yes.
I think like 2 or 3 of them ended the game. So yeah, I mean, it's either him or Taysom Hill. So like, sure, pick your poison.
And I'm just like, did you really sign Taysom Hill to that big contract for him to be the starter, or for him to still be that utility player?
I mean, dude, he wears 2 gloves when he comes in the game to play quarterback.
Yeah.
If you wear 2 gloves, shout out to Teddy Bridgewater, who I think still does that. Yeah. You know, like, and Teddy Bridgewater is another guy. Speaking of quarterback battles out in Denver, he's battling Luke Falk. If Teddy Bridgewater can't beat out, and I don't know what the expectations were for Teddy Bridgewater coming out of college. Shout out to Louisville. I don't know what the expectations were, but like, if you can't beat out Luke Falk, you're
in a tough situation if you can't end up doing that. Like your career
it's going in the wrong direction. And then shout out to RG3. Speaking of quarterbacks, speaking of Heisman winners, RG3 is going to ESPN to do some commentary.
Really?
I think he'll probably. I hope he does college football. Because I want to see him do college football more. He says he still wants to play in the league. He puts out all these videos of him working out. We'll see how that goes. But apparently he's got Reese Davis tweeted out that he's got a really good future in broadcasting. So we'll see how well that goes. But back to Jameis,
I want to say something about, so we'll talk about Teddy for 2 seconds. I think it can help Jerry Jeudy's career and some of the other receivers out. The reason being, if you looked at when he was with the Panthers, DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel did do much better. Like they kind of did get put out there. Now, Teddy overall wasn't the best quarterback, but he could find them in certain areas. So I could see him like force feeding some of the receivers there. He'll have interceptions and he will have sacks, but he doesn't have an amazing running back like he did out there. He has Melvin Gordon, which is good. And I know they have other running backs that are there, but they're not on the same level as having McCaffrey or even the other one that they had when McCaffrey went down.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how well that goes.
But my other thing I wanted to end up bringing up before we end up moving into like Olympics and everything is for all the football fans out there, you know what happened today with Barcelona. And Lionel Messi's not coming back. The weird part about all of this is, and it just shows you this, what rumors can do. Because at one point they were saying Lionel Messi just signed the biggest contract ever, like he was set. The next moment they're like Lionel Messi did not. Then the next they're saying, oh, Lionel Messi's back with Barcelona. And they just said it's the end of an era now. And the big thing about this is, so Barcelona was always one that a lot of people out there grew up watching. You grew up watching like Barcelona and Real Madrid. Those are like the 2 big ones. And of course you watch like Man U, some watch Man City as well. And then
I watched them all, dude. I watched them all. Yeah. I watched them all, dude. Big football guy over here, you know?
But the crazy thing about that is it wasn't just Lionel Messi leaving. It's more so an end of an era for Barcelona and the way that they were constructing everything. You heard about in upper management what was happening there, but they had at one point Neymar, Suarez, and Messi. They're all gone now, and they're all doing other things, and they've all come out in some sort of way or capacity talking about what happened in Barcelona. So that's something I want to see going forward. But a big thing is, where is Messi going to end up? So they're trying to figure out. What's funny is I saw some people say that. So,
but that was the first thing that popped out was Messi's going to sign with the Lakers for the league for a veterans minimum.
Yeah. So there's different ones because they did talk about him buying another condo out of Miami. Messi is legit buying up the whole city of Miami at this rate.
Like, he's got the money.
He has dumb money. It doesn't even make sense, the amount of money he has over there. But I wanted to end up bringing that up. We'll try to keep updates on where he goes. We can promise you over here, once he signs with the club, we will be bringing it to you and just letting you know. But I do want to talk about men's basketball in the Olympics, because a lot of people are concerned, and Steven and I think we can agree we weren't really concerned, because people always like to say, oh, we wonder what's going to happen. If you have KD, Damian Lillard, and Devin Booker, we don't have to go down the whole list. They're not about to like, all right, we're about to lose to these people that we can beat clearly in the NBA, but they're in the gold medal game against France. I do want to say shout out to Nicolas Batum for that block he did have at the end of the game, which was huge. So it's going to be Fournier, Batum, and Gobert going up against the men's Olympic team. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think anyone should have been worried. I think it was just good talking points to fill time and ask if, the men's team was in trouble and everything. But, there's no team in the world that can turn it on like the US. Like, for
the games aren't close.
Yeah, like I think I saw the spread is 11.5 for the US. So, and obviously, my disappointment with the game being at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. Not like, I mean, I'll probably watch like the first half. I mean, knowing me, I'll probably stay up for the whole game, but I think they'll win. Again, you have Durant, you have Dame. Like you said, we don't need to go down the whole roster. We know who's on there. We know who the ballers are. We know who, they have JaVale McGee. We have guys like that. We have Draymond Green. We have, we have Zach LaVine. I mean, like, it's fine. We'll be all right. No one should have ever been worried. Like I said, there's no team in the world that can turn it on like us. So, I think we'll probably win US by 15.
I believe it. I honestly believe it. That team and the players that are on the men's team, I know Zach's going to want to show out now because he just got a lot of help. We'll touch on it in the free agency, but he got a lot of help. So he's definitely has something to prove. Devin Booker, he got his boy back. So he has something to prove too.
Yep.
And then Tatum, he got like a whole new team over there now.
Yeah.
So they have a lot to end up proving to themselves, but also to the league, because it's going to carry over into the season since we're back in a regular season as well coming up. So I do believe that the men's basketball team is going to win. There's a bunch of sports that you could say that certain clubs or teams will definitely win, like countries, Jamaica, you always got to believe in them. In the track, like men's and women's basketball is always going to go to the United States unless some crazy things happen, Athens, then you don't bet against them really.
Yeah.
So
I saw speaking of teams you can usually count on, and I talked about this before we came on here. Chase Claypool is down for the Steelers. That's not good. Looks like he got the wind knocked out of him. The men's track team was favored in the 100-meter dash. Well, not favored, but they had someone who was, poised to get gold, I guess, if we can phrase it that way. Poised to get gold in the 100-meter dash, the 200-meter dash, and the 400-meter relay, and we didn't place in any of them, which is sad. Like,
that's really bad.
I mean, I didn't see. It sucks. Like, I haven't really. I don't know about you, but I haven't really tuned in a lot lately to the Olympics. I saw that the ratings are down 45% from 2016, and I think and this happened a lot during the NBA and the NFL season, and I think college football too. Numbers were down, ratings were down. I just don't think people don't care right now. Like, there's too many
other things.
Like, there's way too much shit going on in the world for people to really stop and be like, you know what? Let me pause my life, or let me not care about COVID, or let me not care about, XYZ, and let me sit down and watch the Olympics. Like, I don't know how long you have to tune into something for it to count towards ratings or whatever. I don't know how all that works, but I mean, if you're going to be sitting down watching the Olympics, you're going to be sitting down and watching it for like a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Because those events are like, there's a lot of them, and you're going to be watching it for a long time. So people just don't care right now. Mm-hmm. So I think like that's another reason. Like I couldn't tell you who won the men's 100 meters or like the women's 100 meters or anything like that. But, I think that's a huge reason. But yeah, it sucks that we didn't place we can talk about why people aren't watching Olympics, but it sucks that we didn't place in track and field, because you always want to be like the fastest country. Mm-hmm. I would assume that Jamaica was probably up there, if not taking gold.
The women placed 1 through 3.
Jamaica?
Yes.
Golly, dude.
In the 100 meters. Yes. And the second place finisher, the silver, her name, Fraser Price, she was like 34 years old. That's probably the one sport I watched from start to finish on the different days. The women legit jogged in the first heat. It wasn't a sprint, nothing. Like at the end, they were pulling up. And I was talking to, you guys will see it on Conflux Network when I end up having that conversation. I was talking to the guy, Chris, and I was like, yo, everyone else is sprinting, like trying their all for their countries. Like, yeah,
you're jogging, bro.
Yes, and you're jogging at the end. You know how much that would mess with your mental state.
There was a kid, like a literal kid for the US. He was 17, I think he was. Mm-hmm. I cannot remember what event he was doing. It was either the hurdles or just the straight up 400 meters.
Oh, and 19-year-old.
Yeah, it was 19. Yeah, bro, he was cooking dudes.
He was, like,
again, jogging. Like if you're that fast, you can like in the qualifying, and you're just trying to finish like first, second, or third to get through. Like you can get away with that. And I between that and I watched the long jump. The long jump. And I mean, these dudes, bro, these dudes are jumping like 26, 30 feet. Yeah. Like 26 or 30 feet. And like, I don't know, I'm not a math wizard, so I don't know like the conversion from meters to feet. Like, dude, they say it on TV, like I'm supposed to know. I know. what like 75 meters is to feet. Like, I don't fucking know. Like, just say feet, please. Yeah. Or have caption that says, yeah, please. But they were doing they were jumping like 26 feet, mm-hmm. like just from like one, like, and like, it wasn't even like I don't know if you watched the long jump, but like they have like a sand pit almost. Yeah. And then they jump in the sand pit, and which looks cool, by the way. And then, but like they don't jump like the length of the sand pit. Where they start is like an extra like 3 feet or 4 feet back from like the beginning of the sand pit. So they're jumping from back there. Some of them start behind there so they don't get their feet above the disqualification line. I'm a huge long jump fan now. I might start doing it in my backyard. So they gotta jump like from back here, and these dudes and girls are just leaping in the air.
Flying. Yes.
Flying though. Like they're literally flying in the air. Like it's unbelievable. I'd love to see, some of the NBA guys. Like I know they can take off from crazy distances, but like mm-hmm. I'd love to see some of them do. I wish we could do that. I wish we could get in like a side Olympics going where like you pick, you partake in, once your sport is done and you've placed or you're done completely, like you go and do another sport. Like JaVale McGee with his lanky ass doing long jump. I'm sure he could just like take one. I'm sure you can just take one step and place bronze or something like that. But
yeah,
I wish we could do that. But these these athletes are just like you just forget every 4 years that the best humans in the world, like the top athletes and the human people in the world, are just doing crazy shit day in and day out.
And half of them just go back to a normal life when they get back home. Like some of them just like, all right,
bro, they do though.
And just go back to college.
They do. God, it's unbelievable. It's like, all right, so like God blessed you with the ability to do something every 4 years, take off a little bit. Now I know they train between the 4 year gap. I'm not saying they don't, but like they go back and they're just okay. Every 4 years, I just do this and take home a gold medal and like go back to my bro. Like go back to my 200 square foot apartment in New York City or like somewhere else. Like that's unbelievable, dude. That's unbelievable.
The other thing I wanted to end up bringing up is, so I always watch like the random weird sports or the ones that not everyone watches. So I've been watching a lot of rugby, and some of my friends play rugby. They're like, "Yo, Chris, you should come play." No, I'm good. I'm not about to go play with you guys right now.
No, sir.
But just looking at how it is in rugby, some of them, that's their life. Like I was looking at Fiji play, and then I saw France. I was watching the women too. And it's so interesting because even when you cross like the line, you're trying to get close enough to the goalpost so that you can have a better angle when it comes to scoring. So it's just really wild, end up seeing that. But then the other one is fencing. So at my other job that I have, I was talking to them because I'm like, it makes no sense. Like that's the quickest sport. But they were explaining there's different types of games in fencing, whereas the one that they have in the Olympics is like the electric wire. So it's a quick tap. Because I'm like, I was joking with them saying, I'm used to like Tom and Jerry when they would like show the fencing and it would actually be some sort of fight.
Okay, so I just want every fencing person in the world to know that Christian Hayes, CEO of Shift Movement, co-host of the WGN podcast, just compared fencing to a cartoon. But just compared fencing to, which is like a world-class like Olympic event that's been around for a long ass time, bro. He just compared it to Tom and Jerry, the cartoon.
That's Carry what I remember.
Then Carry on.
I continue to see more fencing. I was like, all right, like I don't ever see the quick tap. Even though they're getting points for that, I always saw the ones where it was kind of a little jousting involved, but not the quick tap. And it's so fast, Steven, because they were telling me, they're like, yeah, sometimes it lasts like 14 seconds. So you prepared your whole life to go out there, tap, all right, done. What? Yeah. And that's what you'll explain to people what you do.
Yo, if they want
money, you get money.
If they want that shit to really take off those helmets.
Yeah, do something else. I know.
take off those helmets and let me see you really see how good your accuracy is. Yeah. But speaking of fencing, I don't know I don't know how many national titles, but Penn State fencing has won a bunch of national titles in fencing. And speaking of Penn State, speaking of the Olympics, speaking of the homies back in State College, David Taylor, aka Magic Man, Penn State wrestler, national champion, brought home the
shout out to
David Taylor, the homie. Well, like he's not the home, he's not the homie, but like, you know, like the Penn State homie, you know.
He close enough at that rate.
Yeah. Say alumni, and we're basically all homies.
Yeah. So we're about to get into something that Steven's going to redo when it comes to fantasy football. But I put an announcement out on Twitter talking about I made some sort of investment and I want to let everyone know about it. So what I end up doing is I've been doing a lot of research and just looking at ways to grow the business of Shift Movement and different investments because I want to end up, the end goal is to being some sort of minority owner of a sports teams. I talked to some owners of sports teams now, more so like the Atlanta Hawks. So I'll talk to them at times. Don't want to let everyone know the business out there, but I became a season ticket holder. Well, Shift Movement became a season ticket holder of the Baltimore Ravens. And it's not from I like the team or I don't like the team. It's more so of a local investment standpoint and looking at different teams that their ticket prices aren't necessarily where I know that they can get to, but then also doing it for giveaways here. So I was talking to Steven saying, as we continue to grow the channel, I want to end up doing this as like a major giveaway. So the seats are actually row 11, right behind the goalpost as well for everyone out there. And it's one of what?
Whoa. Wait, hold up. You're talking about for the Ravens?
Yeah.
So, like the lower bowl.
Yeah.
Behind the goalpost.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I'll make sure I know when they play the Steelers so I can hop on that.
I know. So yeah, they play them in January, I'm pretty sure. And the big ones are right now that everyone's talking about. And I try to like resell a lot of these, but the big game is the Kansas City Chiefs against the Baltimore Ravens. That's their home opener. and it's a Sunday night game. And that's kind of like the huge one that like those tickets I'm already seeing now at least $500-$600 each. But so that was the big thing. And like I said, it's from a networking standpoint so that we can continue to grow, but also we will do this in other sports teams. So it won't just be football. We want to do football because of the amount of games compared to the pricing. Basketball, I don't know if I'm going to do that. That's too many games.
We got to grow. We got to grow a lot more for that one.
Yeah, I know.
A lot more.
But so that was that. What we want to talk about now is Steven's fantasy football. So we are going to go over the wide receivers. Steven will go through his 15-1, just to recap that. And then I'll do my 8-1. And what you got?
So if you guys remember last week, I don't even know. I think, let me see if I still have my team from last week. Oh yeah. Here are my wide receivers from last week that I blatantly just didn't even like realize what was going on at the time. Remember, I was sick last week.
Yeah.
I was sick last week. I'm better
Sounds
now.
Much better.
I was sick last week. Thanks. I was sick last week. So this is my team last week, my 15-1 wide receivers. I had Jamar Chase, Chase Claypool, Devontae Smith, Juju, Amari Cooper, Julio at 10, Chris Godwin, Tyreek Hill at number 8, Stefan Diggs at number 7, Keenan Allen at number 6, Mike Evans at number 5, Allen Robinson at 4, DK at 3, Deandre Hopkins at 2, and Devontae Adams at numero 1. So that was pretty much all over the place. So top 10 or top 15 for this week. I had Devontae Smith at 15. Okay. I had Claypool at 14. Adam Thielen making this an appearance at 13.
Wow.
Robert Woods at 12. I had Amari Cooper still at 11. Julio at 10 still. Justin Jefferson at 9. Chris Godwin at 8. Keenan Allen at 7. Wow. Allen Robinson at 6. Mike Evans at 5. Tyreek Hill at 4, DK at 3, Hopkins at 2, and Devontae Adams at number 1. So the top 3 didn't change, but everybody else did.
Dang. So I'll say mine because there's a glaring one that we both did not put in, and for different reasons, and I think it might be interesting. Did you say Michael Thomas?
No, I did not.
I didn't say Michael Thomas either.
I didn't. No. Well, I think a couple reasons, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he's a overrated receiver or like a bad receiver. Like, just a lot of the passes that he was catching when he broke the record, they were slant passes. Yeah, they were just like quick outs, and they weren't like, he wasn't getting crazy like deep balls or like crazy post routes or corner routes, or like they were just quick slants. So like, I mean, it's much like what Antonio Brown was doing early in Pittsburgh. Same type of shit, same type of offense. I mean, again, he's a very good receiver, very elite hands. I saw him at Ohio State, like very elite hands. But and then again, back to the quarterback situation in New Orleans.
Hey, Jameis gonna feed that ball.
I don't think we even need to elaborate on that. But you can go ahead with your top what, top 8?
So my 7. So at number 7, and ours are different, just to let everyone know out there. Number 7, I have DeAndre Hopkins. It's his second
really
year. So you'll hear the rest.
Bro, oh my God. You're top. Yeah. Okay. All right. Keep going.
So, but there's someone that you'll realize in my top 3, since you know me, why I put him there. So number 7, I have DeAndre Hopkins. Number 6, because Julio Jones is gone, I have Calvin Ridley at number 6, just because I know. So he had 143 targets last year, and then he had 90 receptions. I know they're going to start double teaming him, and then they'll slide the safety over his way. But depending on how Matt Ryan does with his year, and depending on how Kyle Pitts is, it can be a make or break thing for Calvin Ridley.
I feel you, though. I feel you.
Yeah, because they messed up Gurley. They just all destroyed Gurley. So it's going to be a passing offense more so. Number 5, I have the homie that should have gone to the Eagles, but the Eagles messed it up, Justin Jefferson. And he was 3rd in receiving yards as a rookie. So he had 125 targets, 88 receptions, 7 touchdowns. Number 4, I have Tyreek Hill. And Tyreek's just going to always be up there. It doesn't matter how many receivers are there. You always know Mr. Travis and Mr. Tyreek going to get their touches regardless. Then everyone else can end up getting it. Look at where Sammy Watkins went. So Tyreek had 135 targets and 87 receptions and 15 touchdowns. And that's the part that just gets me, the 15 touchdowns. Number 3, I had DK Metcalf. And he's going to continue to grow. I personally believe that if him and Russell continue to just grow together in the chemistry, he can get to that number 1 spot. He has all the mechanics to do it. It's just a matter of, can those two link up more? And can he continue to read defenses more?
I think he's the best pure receiver in the league. Like if you look at all facets of what a receiver does, the short passes, the intermediate game, the deep ball, he can run the routes. He's big, he's strong, he's fast. He's got to work on, he's dropped some passes that could have been touchdowns. So he's, got to work on the hands, which I think every receiver can do, but I think he's got everything necessary to be number 1, like I think by a wide margin. Go ahead.
There's only 2 things that I would say that don't have him at the number 1 spot. It's 1, some passes he just dropped that he should have caught. The second thing is his head. Like he has to be there in the head. Sometimes you'll see him like get angry and stuff like that. Sometimes, okay, it's warranted, but other times you'll see like the team looking like, dude, you're like the best receiver there. You got Tyler over there just chilling in the back. Just let your linemen take care of all this. Just same thing when they were talking about Daniel Jones. Why the hell are you in the middle of the scrum? I get that you want to be there with your team, but get the hell out of there, because if you get injured, they going to ask what the hell was the reason for it.
We're done.
So number 2, and he won me my fantasy football league, so I had to keep him there, and that was Stefan Dix. And reason being, Stefan had 166 targets, 127 receptions, and 8 touchdowns. And he led the league in targets and receptions. And that was year 1 with him and Allen. Something that I knew when he was going to be with Josh Allen. Josh Allen, ever since Wyoming, the man just slings it. It don't matter. He will just sling the ball out there. And he finally had the right receiver for him. So that was the big thing. Number 1 is the easy one, Devontae Adams. As long as it's him and Aaron Rodgers, it's fine. You had all those different receivers, Guantanamo and everybody that were out there, but they weren't necessarily. But they got Randall Cobb now.
Oh my God. All right. Wow, bro.
So
that's some shit that that's some like JaVale McGee shit right there. That you'd say. Golly.
So I know it's Geronimo Allison.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's disrespectful, bro.
But that's mine. The biggest differences are we have a similar. Where'd you have Diggs ranked for you? I don't even know if you had him.
I did not.
Didn't have him.
Yeah. I don't like. I understand why people like him. Like I understand. I don't think there's anything I can really say to like justify not having him in my top 15 because he led the league and he's always up there. He's always going to be up there. He's number 1 guy. I don't know. It's just a personal preference.
It's so the big, and I like that you said that because it truly is a personal preference where certain things are. And then looking at the numbers is different from looking at the eye test. And a lot of times people end up doing eye tests. They'll do who won me like fantasy sports and who's going to win me in the betting odds. And some of these receivers like Tunyon for the Packers in a tight end position or Claypool, you just got to get them in the right week for them to end up winning.
Well, and it's also like when I said about when we started this, I said, how much do I trust the quarterbacks in the system that they're in? Yeah. And Josh Allen proved last year that you can trust him for sure. But he's one of those he's one of those quarterbacks where like I'm taking him year by year.
Yeah.
And I know you can say that about literally every single quarterback. Well, just about every single quarterback in the league, right? You can say that about everybody. But I've seen him do really, really well in like certain parts of games. But one game, I've seen him do really, really well in certain parts of one game, and then really shit the bed in the same game.
Yes, yeah, I've seen it. It will
And again,
affect your team.
I'm not stupid. I know that happens to literally every single quarterback, but like it's consistency. So it's just one year to the next, and it's the Bills. Like we all like the Bills have a track record of not doing so hot, and there's a lot of like
don't even want to be there anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot of shit going on with the Bills in terms of like if they're gonna be in Buffalo, and like they apparently might want to move to Texas. Like,
yeah, I heard that.
I don't think that's gonna impact the team and like the performance and everything like that, but
I think it'll impact if they move to Texas. I think it would impact the rest of the league when they played against them, but also when it came down to that December month. Other than that, everything's the same. But like that December month, when you're those New York teams or those Great Lake teams, got that advantage because you train in the cold and in the snow. I'll never forget those videos when you would see like Brett Favre run by the stadium naked and stuff. And I'm like, that's the way they do it because you were mentally preparing. You got these F-150s. Meanwhile, you got these Southern boys, or you even have the West Coast boys that are coming up there.
That's a real thing.
Yes.
Like that weather is a real thing, bro.
Yes. It's not like Maryland snow or anything like that. No, like that's feet. Like I'll never forget when LaShawn McCoy was running in the snow. That was some real stuff when they're doing these games. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's mine. What you want to do next week?
We'll do running backs next week.
Okay. So that's
I'm already gonna tell you I got Saquon Barkley at number 1. I'm already gonna tell people I got Saquon Barkley at number 1. Like I'm not even gonna there's a gap. There's a gap. I have a gap between Barkley and whoever's number 2.
Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be. It's very tough. I chose Christian McCaffrey in a lot of my leagues last year. Definitely disappointed me, but shout out to his backup, Mr. Mike.
I'm also not gonna have Zeke Elliott in my top 10 or top 15 just because he went to Ohio State. Like I'm just not gonna do it.
What's crazy is it's so funny because I'll never forget when Steven and I had that conversation when Ohio State lost. I forget which bowl game, and he called out, I think it was Urban Meyer was his coach at the time, and he was on the podium and he was just calling out the coaching staff. I was like, karma's gonna come back to get this man. And it's weird how things do. He got suspended that 1 year if he did or didn't do it. But Zeke, I don't know. I think he's one of those that he had everything to be that playmaker year over year, but it's just not there as much. He just doesn't have that same.
It's the same thing with DK. Like I think DK is a lot more like there, like mentally wise. Like I think once you just kind of revert back to your old self, and Zeke was out of shape. I think everyone saw that. He looks like I've seen the videos. He looks like he's in good shape this year. I don't know. I've never liked him, obviously for, obvious reasons, but
I don't run CMC anymore.
I can't. Well, shout out to the white running backs.
Shout out.
Zeke looks healthy. I can't deny his talent. I just don't like that he went to Ohio State, so I'm just not gonna pick him. Yeah, I mean, bro, keep eating.
Yeah, I know.
Keep eating.
So running backs next week, we can do 15 again. It won't be the same as like the wide receiver position because there is clearly tiers when it comes to the running back position. Wide receivers, there are a lot of arguments, as you can see when Steven and I did this. But the running back and quarterback, I think you're going to see the tiers of how things go. And so that's what we'll do moving forward. But we got to get to the main part of the show.
Yeah.
And let's talk about that free agency. And before Steven starts with any of it, I'm going to talk about 2 in particular that you all should know. The first one, if you don't follow Stadium or their network or Shams, you need to follow them because they are taking over everywhere. They started up and they are taking over. It became a race of who's going to get it out first, Woj or Shams. And they've just taken over, own network, everything. Mm-hmm. You got Shams out here looking like the new Adam Schefter and stuff when he does his stuff.
Facts.
But DeMar DeRozan, forget the other contracts. And Steve and I talk about contracts. We know people that have played in the NFL in different ways, and you have to understand the contracts themselves. DeMar DeRozan's contract, 3 years, $85 million, is fully guaranteed, not partial, not anything.
That doesn't happen in the league.
No.
That's not happening.
Yeah, and he's going to the Bulls.
Mazel tov.
Yeah, so that's a big one. The other one, and this is why I said shout out to Stadium, because they took the time. If you paid for it, I didn't pay for it. I just have access to it. But they broke down the Spencer Dinwiddie trade. It's not easy, like sign a trade, Brooklyn Nets to the Washington Wizards. No, that was like 8 teams that it took for Spencer Dinwiddie to go from Brooklyn to Washington because of the way his contract was. And you also have to think that even though sometimes players get traded to other teams or sign with other teams, the previous team or 2 previous teams are still paying them money. That's what you'll start to see when it comes to like buyouts. Certain teams, players will take minimum deals because they're still getting paid other places, or when they get waived, they're still getting paid at their previous place, or even in trades, sometimes it's agreed in there that the previous team is going to pay. For example, Carson Wentz. So Carson Wentz went to the Colts, but the Eagles are still on the books for a good amount of money this year. So that's what happened with the Spencer Dinwiddie deal.
Shout out Luol Deng.
Shout out, yo, he was getting paid for years too. Went to LA, said,
bro, he's still getting paid. He's getting $5 million this year.
Yes, and they're still on the books.
I think he's the 4th highest paid player in the Lakers this season.
Hell yeah. So those are the only 2 I wanted to bring up. Steven will end up going through, and we can kind of break down some of the bigger ones. Shout out Kent Bazemore, because I know Steven's not gonna bring that one up.
So I went to I think it's called spotrac.com. It breaks down all the salaries. I can never get it right. Shout out to John Collins.
Yo, was I talking? So Steven put it on Twitter, and it was the funniest thing because John Collins was saying, I'm about to get this max deal and stuff. And then Steven was like, that's not really gonna happen. He got a lot of money though.
Bro,
I don't think he was worth it.
No, he's not. He got 5 years, 125. Okay, yeah. So good for him, right? Chris Paul going back to Phoenix, 4 years, 120.
How much money he got over his lifetime? Did you see that?
It's like 466.
Over 400 million in all of his contracts. Get your money.
Yeah, good for him. He's 36.
Yeah. Until 40, he's gonna get paid.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Jared Allen going back to Cleveland, got 5 years, 100
mil, 20.
I don't know how he's still 23 years old, but anyway. Norman Powell staying in Portland, 5 years, got 90. Another big one, Kyle Lowry finally left Toronto, going to Miami.
Toronto's kind of done-ish. They're not going to be the same. Kawhi
they're in rebuilding.
That train
down. They're in rebuilding mode. Kyle Lowry got 3 years for 90.
That's good. Good for him.
That's some Skrilla. Shout out Duncan Robinson.
Yo, so before we keep going, some of these teams, as we break it down, I don't know where the hell they got all this money from. Because I know these TV deals are great though, but I don't know where the money comes from.
I think the Lakers are like $1 bajillion over the cap space.
Hell yeah.
Duncan Robinson, shout out to the white guys. 5 years, got $90 million again.
Yes. Out of Michigan too.
Yeah, we know he's 27, still a young bull. We covered DeMar DeRozan, 3 years, 85, average salary of 28.3. Lonzo Ball also got paid.
Going to Chicago.
Got Skrilla, 4 years, 85.
So before we keep going with that one, so Lonzo Ball, as much as people hate LeVar Ball and all he does, his kids are getting money. Like they're getting their money. Yep. He talked a lot. Lonzo, I think, is in a better place for him. That a lot of things got shut up when he went to New Orleans. So he finally got to go up there with Chicago. They have a decent 3. I don't like the word big 3 because everyone likes to call those things big 3s. But to see Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball, and DeMar DeRozan, they can learn out. They're not going to win no championship. They're not going to get the Eastern Conference Finals. But they'll be interesting for people to watch. You get to see DeMar DeRozan, who used to be in the slam dunk contest, who used to ball. And then you have Zach LaVine, who since UCLA, I've been seeing this man ball. And he was coming off the bench then. So shout out to them.
Yeah, they're one of those teams where like people say, if anything, they'll just be fun to watch.
Yes,
that's gonna be them. Tim Hardaway Jr. staying in Dallas, 4 years, 74.
He got more money than his dad ever got.
Yeah. You mentioned Dinwiddie, Conley going back to Utah. Let's see here. D Rose going back to New York.
Who else going to Utah though?
Rudy. I was gonna say Hassan Whiteside.
Yes.
He got some Skrilla. Shout out to another white guy, Doug McDermott.
He got money. They were making jokes
yeah.
saying Doug McDermott got more money than Nick Chubb does, and Doug McDermott doing less than Nick Chubb.
Facts. 3 years, $42 million.
That's good. San Antonio, which is a good place for him.
Shout out to my guy Alex, the Caruso.
Where are you going?
Chicago.
Yes.
I got Chicago. He got 4 years, 37 mil. Like my guys got paid.
Got paid.
Yeah. Shout out to Detroit. Got Kelly Olynyk, 3 years, 37 mil.
So what are your thoughts on the Detroit signings around Cade Cunningham?
I don't want to talk about it. Shout out to Taylor Horton Tucker, bro. My guy.
Where is this money coming from?
Bro, my guy is 20.
Yes.
My guy is 20. He's a career average of like 9 points a game. Got 3 years, 32 mil.
You realize this man, you have to see something in him. If THT is getting more money than probably like Dwight Howard, Carmelo Anthony. They
let go of everybody else and they kept him.
Yes.
So
Pope
you gotta
Kuzma gone.
You gotta see something in him. Danny Green's getting paid again. He got 2 years, $20 million. So one of the ones that surprised me actually for how much, or I guess how little he got, Cameron Payne only got 3 years, $19 million with Phoenix. I'm wondering what he might have gotten. I mean, like, I don't know what he would have been on another team. Like, I don't know if he would have been starting point guard, or I know what his numbers would have been like on another team, but he got 3 years, $19 million in Phoenix. So I'm wondering what the market could have been with him somewhere else.
I think he could have got more other places. So with Cameron, a lot of people know he was with OKC for a minute, and then he was with Phoenix. And you could tell he's one of those players that I'd rather try to see if we can get back to finals. They're not going to, but he knows that they have a better chance in Phoenix than maybe if he went somewhere else. For example, like Doug McDermott got paid. I think that Cameron Payne could have got decent amount of money because they saw what he could do. And it reminds me of, like, not comparing him to Nick Foles, but when Nick Foles did very well for the Eagles, then he got paid when he left and went to Jacksonville. And it's like, he can get that money, but will he be in a good situation like that?
Right.
So I don't know if Payne would be in a better situation than Phoenix. And to learn from a guard like
I think, and he's 27. This is a 3-year contract.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I literally just had that thought myself. Shout out PJ Tucker. He's getting paid 2 years.
Miami getting a team. So that's where what's funny. I don't know if I talked to you about this, Steven, but it's funny because I knew when he was on the stage drinking that Ace of Spades, that wasn't the place for him, because they looked at him like he was a weird person doing that, talking about his dogs. But now he go to Miami and he can be whoever he wants to be down there.
Yep. 2 years, $15 million for PJ. Let's see here.
Bobby, he didn't need the money.
No, he's 36, so he's getting up there. So really? this could be the towards the end of the road for him. Bobby Portis cashed out, got 2 years, $9 million back in Milwaukee.
BP gas station.
And then look at this though. As we get down this list, and we're getting down to the bottom here, you're gonna notice a good trend here. Carmelo, 1 year, $2 million. Wow. Trevor Ariza, 1 year, 2.6. Ellington, 1 year, 2.6. Dwight Howard, 1 year, 2.6. Kent Bazemore, 1 year, 2.4.
Sacrificing.
Malik Monk is 23 years old. He got 1 year, 1.7.
Yeah.
How in the world do you get a 23-year-old who's coming off of a rookie deal a couple years ago, and he's no slouch? Okay,
that's a Kentucky boy. I think
that's a Kentucky boy who can shoot the three. Okay, that just tells me he wants a ring.
That all that you just mentioned, because you saw it was a trend. A lot of them that had left, they said we're coming back, and I think a lot of this happened after LeBron created this diabolical plan of being able to get Russell Westbrook, and it was like, this is probably our best chance. It reminds me now, and you know this, when the Lakers set up Kobe, Shaq, Karl Malone, Gary Payton, and all of them. Only difference is those players were past their heyday. Some of these players still have a lot of life left in them.
And I want to touch on this, and we don't have to end on this, but this is more like a like a sentimental thing for at least people our age. Melo and LeBron, like people our age, and I'm 29. You're how old?
28.
Yeah, so we're basically the same age. So we've been around long enough. When we started watching hoops, at least for me, I started watching hoops around like 2000, like 2001 ish was like when I started really getting into sports in general. And LeBron and Melo, we knew them as LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony. Not LeBron, not Bron, not Melo. Like we knew them as LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony. And they were our, like Kobe and Shaq weren't, like Iverson wasn't, like those guys, like, yeah, like we knew them because they were already big names in the NBA. But like coming up, you always try and find someone that's like, not, I guess, like coming up with you in a way. I mean, obviously those guys are a lot older than us. But like you try and find those guys who aren't in the league yet, who you can kind of like attach to. And Melo and LeBron were those two guys who, like, we, at least for me, like I attached to them, like, because they, their games were on ESPN. And they were like some of the first high school games, Oak Hill and St. Vincent St. Mary.
You can see them, yes.
That game was on ESPN too. And I remember that being like, it was hype. Like, that was kind of like when I started really watching hoops and like understanding sports and understanding the X's and O's of things. So like those guys, those like the first like big name athletes, because Kobe and Shaq and Iverson, talking about basketball, those guys came in like 96.
Yeah.
Shaq came in a lot earlier, and we didn't see them from day one because like we were 3 years old when they started hooping. So like LeBron and Melo, though, like we've seen them from day one. We've seen them since they were like 15, 16 years old. In high school, we saw LeBron with a full head of hair. We saw Melo with the fro.
With the braids going back.
We saw with the braids. We saw Melo. People don't know LeBron had braids. We saw Melo when, go through the national title, go through college. We saw these dudes from like day one, like the McDonald's All-American slam dunk contest with LeBron. Like we've seen these dudes from the beginning, and they were like the reason why, at least for me, I don't know about you, but the reason why I really, really started getting into the NBA. It wasn't because of hearing about Michael Jordan or hearing about Iverson or Kobe or Shaq, whatever. Obviously, we watched those guys, but like these two were the reason why I got into hoops, like a lot. Why I fell in love with basketball. Same thing goes to like Michael Vick. Michael Vick was a reason, outside of like Penn State guys. Michael Vick was the reason why I got into football, really. And like these two, like it's just like, I don't know, like people can say what they want about LeBron. People can hate him for whatever reason. Like LeBron's trying to play underdog this season and everything like that. And like I think they're like second favorite to win the title behind Brooklyn, but
they're beating Brooklyn. They're beating Brooklyn.
I obviously I'm rooting for this team because I'm a LeBron guy and I want to see him get as many titles as possible. But like, if you're just like a hoop fan in general, like, and you love the game and you've been around for a while, like these two are the guys who we came up with. Yeah, like, so I think it's like, it's pretty dope. Like and like, they're boys. Like, they're not just like on the court, like, yo, what's up? Like, we came in the same class, like all that kind of stuff. Like, if you know the backstory, they've been boys since the AAU days. Yeah. And since they started playing in high school.
Yeah. So what's so crazy is, just like Steven said, Steven was more like the LeBron guy. I was absolutely Carmelo. Like, it started with Allen Iverson. So I've loved Allen Iverson since like day one, had almost every single pair of his Reebok shoes. Shout out to his agent for keeping Allen Iverson smart with his money. But when Allen Iverson got traded to Denver Nuggets, I think those were some of the greatest years of my childhood. I didn't care about girls at that point. I didn't care about schoolwork. It was seeing Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony playing together to the point that I had a Denver Nuggets TV. And it was one of those, we'll talk about this later about my favorite jerseys that I've ever had, but Carmelo Anthony jersey had that as a Nuggets fan. And then I had the Allen Iverson jerseys, and that was it. Just seeing those two, because they were the icons when it came to the braids growing up. And just seeing both of them, now to see Carmelo finally maybe get this chance. This might be absolutely one of Carmelo's last chances for a ring. There isn't like LeBron has more, because LeBron will be able to play longer, because the way of like, you can break down like their body figures and like the training and stuff and how they play their game, but LeBron will be able to play a little longer. Carmelo knows damn, this is like one of my last years. So he sacrificed in Portland, but I don't think he would have been to this point if it wasn't for the Portland Trailblazers, giving him those opportunities there to still believe in himself. Because if you listen to anything about Carmelo, he knew he was almost done. Like, he was on the road to Lala, and then he wasn't really playing. So for him to get that opportunity in Portland helped him here. He's coming off the bench. Don't expect him to start, but he'll still give you that mellow jab and like that pull up every now and again. So I'm really happy for Melo, because if he wins a ring, I think that would almost complete like my childhood for him to end up winning. So CP had his chance, which I was happy for. Bosh got his ring. Dwayne Wade got his ring. So it's just Carmelo. And they talked about it. He was the last one in the group that just couldn't make it to the finals. His ass wanted to be in New York for all these years because he was thinking money. But he's also a local person. So we both grew up in Brooklyn, New York. So that was a big reason why I was able to like relate to him. But then he had braids, I had braids, and he played basketball and everything in Baltimore. So that was another big thing. But shout out to Carmelo. I had his shoes too, the Denver Nuggets, white and yellow with the blue with the number 15. But I hope he does win. And I've never said I like the Lakers, but if Rudy Gay would have went there, I would have absolutely became a Lakers fan. But I will be supporting the Lakers out there. So Lakers in 2. But
shout out.
Shout out. It's one of those, like, there's no odds making stuff. If you look at that team on paper, if you could go to sleep, just think about what type of team you could design with realistic money and everything. This is almost it. If you could, they always say, what if they were in their prime? If these players were in their prime, shit. Like
that'd be
Orlando Dwight,
bro. It'd be a wrap, bro. You got all right. So real quick, we'll run down this. Prime Westbrook, which is like kind of over with, but like a couple years ago, like MVP Westbrook.
He gonna get you triple double still.
Yeah, like who's like, all right, who's the 2 on that team right now?
You said
Wayne
that,
Ellington?
And maybe that's probably your only one.
Or like,
because they got rid of KCP, who would have been it.
I guess Wayne Ellington, like, all right, fine. We'll take
Bazemore.
All right, we'll take a national championship. Wayne Ellington from Carolina. Yeah. You can take whatever year LeBron you want to take, and then you can take like 08, 09 Melo when they made it to the conference finals against the Lakers, or you can take 03 Melo when he ran through the NCAA tournament, and you got and then at the 5, I mean, or you got the you can, all right, fine. We'll put LeBron at the 2. We'll put Melo at the 3. We'll put AD at the 4. And we'll put Prime Dwight at the 5.
Prime Dwight was out of this world. Like, Prime Dwight, shit. And forget when they had Boogie. Like, it don't matter.
I get people talking about like their age and like I get it. Like those boys are going to be tired. Like, I don't think anyone on that team is playing. I don't think anyone under the age of like 30 is playing, or anyone over the age of 30 is playing 82 games or anything close to it. But like, I get their age, but like, come on, like,
yeah,
those. And I texted you, like, those guys all know what their role is.
Absolutely.
Like Melo's not going to start. We know that. Dwight's not going to start. Bazemore's not like Trevor Reese is coming. Like, but their second unit.
Reese is another one. Yeah.
Like, their second unit's gonna they know what they need to do. They just need to keep up. I'm like, they'll be fine. Like they'll be fine. They're gonna be. A
lot of people are always like, Westbrook will never win, but Westbrook is a dog, but he can't be the supreme leader on that team. And I think if there's one player in the NBA that can help him and guide him and keep Westbrook in check, it's LeBron. You're going to listen to LeBron.
And bro, like, you know that LeBron's not going to let anybody come into this squad that, like, A, doesn't know their role, and B, that like he can coach himself.
That's why they got rid of Drummond.
Like, shout out to the Sixers. Like, they, like, LeBron's going to, like, he's got these guys coming in, and like he knows what they can do. Like, LeBron, Trevor Ariza was the main one that gave up, I think, like 40 something to LeBron when they were in high school. But like, LeBron knows what Trevor Ariza can do. He knows what Ken Bazemore can do. He knows what, obviously he knows Melo. Like, he knows, like, he just played with Dwight. Like, he knows what all these guys can do. But like, all these guys know what they have to do.
If the Lakers can win a championship, Ken Bazemore is going right back to ODU, and he's a god now. But he gonna be in another level. like himself is going to be enshrined. A ring will be enshrined. No player ever from ODU has won a championship in any sport. Sorry, Justin Verlander's the only one. But other than that, it's like nobody else. Justin Verlander went to ODU.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he did not. I'm gonna look that up right now.
Yes, sir. So it'd be so crazy.
Right now.
But it's really wild when you end up just thinking about all the players that are on the Lakers. A big thing is just Westbrook. This definitely was putting his pride necessarily aside too, because he could be the star anywhere. He could probably get so much more money if I know. Exactly. So that was a big thing when Verlander was there. Even after he was there, they were still making jerseys and shirts for him. They have his jersey in the rafters. That's another one. But if Bazemore isn't in the rafters yet, he absolutely will be in there. When I was in school at the TED, he'll be up there with it. He did so much there. And then a lot of people probably don't remember this, but Kent could have taken them. It was to the NCAA tournament this one year, but he missed the last free throw. He went 2 for 3 at the free throw line with no time left on the clock, and he missed the last free throw against Drexel. And that was a huge thing. But if he wins, none of this ever matters. Like, I know there's certain things you think about, but that won't matter ever again. To be a champion, to come from like a small school like that, we already took Steven's coordinator, so that definitely helps us. And we have Ricky Slade, but to get that for ODU would just mean it's something in itself. And with that, I want to go to our For the Culture section. And we have jerseys for today. So what would you say growing up was your top jersey that either you wanted or you coveted?
So the first jersey that I got, surprisingly enough, was not a Penn State football jersey. The first jersey I ever got was a Michael Vick rookie Atlanta Falcons jersey, all black, the old school Falcons logo. Obviously anybody who knows me knows that Vick is my favorite athlete. I still have it.
Else.
Yep. I still have that. And I have a bunch of jerseys still hanging in my closet, and some of them are put away in storage. I have a LeBron St. Vincent St. Mary's high school jersey, a green one.
Wow.
And I have a authentic stitched Yankees A-Rod jersey. It has Rodriguez on the back of it. I know the Yankees jersey don't have it, but I've had that since since he went to the Yankees. So that was probably
shout out to them buying their championships.
Yeah, bro. And that shit is heavy too. That jersey is like, those baseball jerseys are heavy as shit.
Yes.
And then I also have another one of my favorites is a powder blue LaDainian Tomlinson Chargers jersey. Yeah, it's another one of my. This is another random one that I have. I got a bunch of random jerseys. Like, I was always a big jersey guy. And obviously you were too. I got do you remember Taylor Mays? Who was a safety at USC?
Yes.
I have a white USC Taylor Mays jersey that I asked for Christmas one year. Like, of all things to ask for Christmas, I got a white USC Taylor Mays jersey for Christmas. So I still have that one. I got a Seahawks Jay Hill jersey. I got a whole closet full of jerseys. But yeah, I think those are the Vic jersey, the LeBron jersey, and the LT jersey are probably my favorite ones.
So I had a bunch growing up. I wish I still had a lot more now, because when I end up moving, I moved like 2-3 times. So sometimes you just forget about them, but then you realize later on the meaning behind it. Number 1 and 2 would have to be Allen Iverson and then Carmelo Anthony. Those are like the big ones. I did have a LeBron James jersey growing up, and I had a Tim Duncan jersey growing up, but I had a clean jersey, and I probably only wore it once or twice. It was the throwback J Kidd New Jersey Nets in like the red and blue with the letters. I was like, yo, the number 5, that was probably one of the cleanest I had. But then, of course, Tracy McGrady on the Magic. Yep. I wish I had a Rockets one. I had like the replica version of it. Shout out to when he scored like 13 points in zero amount of seconds. Yeah. But I had a Reggie Miller jersey too. So I think one of my favorites right now has to be the one I just got not too long ago. So shout out. But Kylian Mbappe. That's a big one. Yeah. Okay. Because he was from Paris Saint-Germain.
Okay.
But, fair enough. But I'm a big soccer fan, football fan in itself.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to continue to like get more of those. But I think the basketball jerseys just always stick with me. I don't have as many football jerseys, American football. I had a Donovan McNabb jersey. That's just almost everybody that was a Philly fan just randomly had a number 5 jersey.
Yeah.
So, but I think the best ones were Allen Iverson. Legit had random T-shirts of Allen Iverson and stuff.
Basketball jerseys are just like, they're just dope to wear.
Yes.
Like, I mean, they're just like, they're just a lot more comfortable with the
Yes.
sleeveless.
You can
It's
have
not
parties
easy to
just
wear.
go in the jersey and stuff.
Yo, you ever been to a jersey party? Like,
Yes.
in college, like there was jersey parties, and it was just cool to go to those because like I had my buddy gave me a LeBron Heat jersey. Like I still got that one. Obviously, I wore that one to the pool, man. That's probably one of like the jerseys that I've worn the most is wearing that one around. Like, but going to jersey parties, I was always hyped because like I was always like trying to like, yo, I'll give you $100 for that jersey. I'll give you like,
yes.
Like
I
I'm
know.
like, yo, I need that jersey because like there's some jerseys you don't see a lot of that like the kids back in the day had, and you're like, damn, like I need that one.
Yeah.
Jerseys are just dope to wear.
So one that I wish I would have gotten, probably like a Kobe Bryant jersey. I have Kobe's like Grinch shoes. So I always keep those just to think about.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. So I wore them a lot, but when he passed away, I was like, damn, these are like one of the few I can dunk in. All right, I can't wear these anymore.
No.
But so it's one of those things that Kobe jerseys are big for me. Tim Duncan's, it was a cool jersey. He was still Mr. Fundamental, so I didn't go around saying like,
that's a random one.
I know.
I got a Duncan jersey, bro.
Like you're not telling everybody you got the Duncan jersey. It's like just quiet. Same with Kawhi. You're not going around, yo, got the Kawhi. It's like they're kind of quieter players, but the jerseys will mean a lot. So that's the big thing with jerseys for me.
Next week for the culture, we're gonna do our top 5 playlist songs from 2000 to 2005.
Dang, I'm gonna have to go back in the MP3 player and everything like that.
Yep.
It'll have, honestly, for me, it might just be straight Bow Wow or something like that.
Well, as long as I don't play the songs, you know, like we're driving up to State College.
You know, Steven would.
Yo.
Steven will be like, all right, let's play the next song. Next song, got something.
Yo, so I'll tell it real quick. Like, I am the worst car DJ. I think I'm really good because I play bangers, but like I'm really like the worst because I'll get you through the opening chorus and then the first verse and then maybe the chorus again, and then we're changing the songs. Yeah. Like I'll get you like 1:30, like 2 minutes of the song, and it might be like a 4-minute song, but we're on to the next one.
Think of it. So to equate that for any kids out there watching that, Steven's the type of person that if you take your child to the aquarium and you get to see the tropical fish, then you get to see maybe a whale shark, and and right next door is the great white. All right, turn around. And it's like, what? Like, can we finish the whole thing? Nope. Steven got to be on to the next one. And let's go to the desert where the snakes and everything are. But the song Steven will play, he can play really good ones. I remember sometimes when Steven and I would chill, we would listen to like throwbacks of Wiz and like Mac Miller and stuff like that. I'll never forget when we were just chilling at night, drinking wine or mimosa.
Yo, bro, we were too smacked that night, bro. We were too smacked. Bro, I started making mimosas at like midnight, bro, for no reason. I was like, yo, I got mimosas. Like, all right, cool.
All right,
you trying to do this? Yeah, that was we were smacked.
So we're gonna end it for y'all on that one. Steven, what you got? Anything for the people?
Shout out again to David Taylor, Penn State alum, Penn State wrestler, bringing home the gold. Shout out to Penn State. Also, shout out to Penn State football. Start camp tomorrow. Season is right around the corner. We'll dive into that in a couple weeks. I'm very hyped for the season. 15-0 national champs.
Yeah. So going off of what Steven just said, I think this year I follow a lot of college football, but being able to talk to Steven weekly on here, he learns a lot from the crypto. I think I will be learning a lot from college football. I do know a decent amount about college football. And then, of course, I can tell you the good players. But I think this year I'll be able to start talking to Steven more about the good players that are going to be in the draft. Whereas I only was like CeeDee Lamb, like that's all I wanted. We didn't even get him. So, but I'll be able to analyze and understand more like the rankings and everything. But my shout out for today goes out to Trava Finance. So they had their public launch today, and it legit did good. So basically it was at 0.0025, and at one point it got up to 3 cents. Anyone out there that's a little over a 10x you could have ended up making on your money. It's a gift that I gave a lot of my clients. So they were able to end up seeing like the price of it go up, but it's something that a lot of people start to learn about because it's cross-chain lending. So you can end up using different blockchains to end up lending and things of that nature. I'll dive into lending and borrowing later on, so don't worry if you don't understand that yet. But that's all I got for today. Until next time, we out here.
Peace.